And the 2016 AP Coach of the Year is...
Granger.
Jason Garrett.
We all stand on the shoulders of so many people in our lives. I want to thank my wife, Brill. She's been my best friend and biggest supporter for well over half my life. I love you very
much. Day after day after day after day, showing me the way. And round it goes, day by day.
Jason Garrett and his best friend vacation each summer at the New Jersey shore. It's not far from where they met more than 30 years ago, in a geology class at Princeton University.
Jason was very much the same guy he is today. Engaging, energized, friendly, always a smile on his face, someone you wanted to approach and have a conversation with.
The Garrett's ties to Princeton run deep. It's there where each year they hold their Jason Garrett Starfish Charities football camp. The weekend begins with the Garretts hosting a dinner.
Thanks for being here.
For camp volunteers.
Offensive coordinator at Kimball High School now.
Yeah, awesome.
So I'm enjoying that.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
I know you're changing lives down there.
I know I am, Coach.
Many of them are NFL coaches and players.
You ready to go?
Yeah, I like this area.
Huh?
I like this area.
Oh, yeah. It ain't Starkville, but you know.
Like Dak Prescott, Jason Garrett wore the star as the Cowboys quarterback.
Play fake Garrett, half roll right, stands, deep ball to the middle, Mills is there, touchdown.
Today, he still wears the star as the Cowboys head coach. But the Starfish also has special meaning to him.
Jason Garrett Starfish Charities. Where does the Starfish come from? It comes from the 1989 Princeton commencement.
It's vivid in my mind when the speaker started with this story. It was like everything went away and the person was just speaking to me.
It's about a young boy who's on a beach throwing starfish into the ocean. And a woman comes upon him and asks him what he's doing. And he said there was a big storm last night and the afternoon sun hits these starfish, they're gonna dry up and die. And she says there was a big storm. The beach goes on for miles, there are millions of starfish, your effort's not gonna make any difference. And with that, this young wise boy reaches down, picks up a starfish and says, make a difference to this one. He throws it into the ocean. And I heard that when I graduated.
28 years ago, it just hit me like, wow, that's the essence of life right there.
It was so amazing to me that talking about the beach, our favorite place, and then this bigger message, it was awesome for both of us.
And so when Brill and I decided we were gonna start a foundation, we wanted that to be kind of the thesis.
Perhaps the most important lesson Jason Garrett learned at Princeton came on his last day as a student there. Clearly, he's someone who can recognize a great speech. He also can deliver one.
So 327 kids are coming here tomorrow from New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania. Disadvantaged kids, rough backgrounds, hard situations. We're gonna get one of them. That's the goal. Believe in these young men, instill that belief in them. It's simply the greatest gift that you can give someone. I believe this from the bottom of my heart. We've all had people who believed in us more than we believed in ourselves and more than we deserve to be believed in, to be honest with you, right? We gotta somehow, some way instill belief in these kids, that they belong here. They belong here, they have something to offer. They're gonna sit there on the practice field, they're gonna hear somebody talk.
In order to be great, you have to sacrifice something.
We're gonna have some coach them. There's gonna be some kind of connection.
Oh, good shot! That's the way to throw the ball.
We're gonna walk up campus. We're gonna sit in the lecture hall. We're gonna take a picture in front of Prospect Gardens. At some point, we're gonna get them. And they're gonna say, wow, I wanna do this. I wanna do this. I wanna come to a school like this. That's the idea. That's why we're here.
From snap to whistle in this physical game, might makes right. But Jason Garrett knows that in football and life, words also can pack a powerful punch.
I believe in the spoken word. I think your thoughts, your words, they lead to your actions. The first day of our off-season program, I made a talk to our team, and I finished it with a speech that a very famous speech that President Kennedy made on September 12, 1962 at Rice University. We call it the Moon Speech, but it's the greatest speech there is.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
Not because they're easy, but because they're hard. And because they're hard, they bring out the best in all of us. So I tried to share that with our team. For me, so much of being a coach is trying to establish a mindset and a mentality. We started the third week of April. Line one was build a team we're all proud to be part of forever. I just want to tell you guys unequivocally, I'm proud to be part of the circle right now. And I think words can be really helpful to allow you to do that. It's about mental toughness, it's about focus, it's about will, it's about fight. Ultimately, that's what helps you perform the best, being on that edge. And every time I get in front of the team, I have that feeling. Our standards are high. The best of the best are edgy now. They're hungry, they're focused, and they got a killer instinct. People respond to things differently, and we got to try to sell the same message, okay, a lot of different ways. A good friend of mine's a preacher. He says, I have one sermon, I try to tell it 52 different ways. And that's really the idea of what we're trying to do. It's so much fun for Brill and for me to be back here, a place that's so important to us. We went down to Jadwin Gym today, and I went into the Zamfrini room for the first time in probably 25 years. Immediately, I was taken back to a team meeting with Ron Rodgerson, our head coach. He was so excited about the season, and he encouraged all of us not to wish our days away. Don't wish your days away. This is a great time in your life. The guys, the chemistry we had in that room, the relationships that we had built, the opportunity that we had in front of us. I've thought about that a lot since then. Anybody who's around me every day, these guys hear me talk about recommitting every day. Hey, here we go, a little bounce. We got pat and go. We got pat and go, a little bounce. Making each day great and winning each day. How we doing, 31?
Doing great, coach.
You ready to do something today? Every day. Come on now, a little snap to this. Turn that flame up all day today. Today was a good day to learn. Don't wish your days away.
I think we both wake up in the morning and we're excited for the day. I haven't adopted the okay, how we doing, guys, but I think we both start the day that way.
How we doing, guys? Great. Okay, so what happens with the Cowboys? I ask that question at the start of every meeting. If I get a tepid response like that, McFadden, what do? We ask it again, okay? How we doing, guys? Great. How we doing, guys? Great. Okay, here we go. Okay, guys, how we doing? Okay, guys, how we doing? Great. There's a big, what we call the touchstone down in Dallas at our facility, the Star. And all of our players, coaches, and staff members, before we go out to practice, we go by the touchstone and we touch it. It says it's a privilege and not a right to play, coach, and work for the Dallas Cowboys. My experience in life has been this: the people who create opportunities and take advantage of opportunities are ones who recognize the privilege, and it informs everything that they do. I want you guys to look around today. I want you to look around at the people you see. I want you to look around at the facilities. This can be kind of a wow, can be one of those kinds of places. Molecular biology building, pretty impressive place, right? Some of the finest minds on the planet have studied in these buildings, have changed the world in these buildings. Okay, you guys have created a great opportunity, but we got to remember it's a privilege to be here. Develop a relationship with the guys who you get a chance to be around today. What we don't want to have is, this is not an autograph session. I don't want to see Dak Prescott in the corner. He's pinned to the wall just signing things. We ain't doing that. Instead of taking a picture with him, getting an autograph with him, talk to him. What I want you to do is arm in arm. Hey, when you were having that hard time in Mississippi State, what was the transition like? All the different challenges they've had in their lives, many of these things you guys are confronting. They're great resources. Use the resources. Jalen Smith, linebacker from Notre Dame. We drafted him in the second round last year. He's had a lot of issues coming back from a knee injury over the last year. He's an inspiration to me each and every day. Go get to know Jalen Smith. The last thing is this: have fun. Enjoy yourself. Put a smile on your face. When you score a touchdown, spike the ball. Jump up and down, chest bump, do what you need to do. If you got some dance, do some dance. Put a smile on your face and have fun.
On the same track where Garrett greeted his campers is where his 87-year-old father used to run. And it's from his dad where Jason inherited his daily dose of enthusiasm.
Dad was a football coach. There was always a great energy in our house. I have this image of my dad kind of bounding down the stairs in the morning and kind of filling the house up with this certain kind of energy and this enthusiasm. And, you know, it's contagious. He was about 50 years old, and he decided that he was going to get up and he was going to start running. From the time he was 50 till the time in his early 80s, he got up every morning and he ran. But when I say every morning, I mean 365 days out of the year, regardless of what the weather was. If he was sick, if he was injured in some way, he got up and he ran. To me, that's a great example. Each and every day, having that enthusiasm, having that passion. Wolverines and the Buckeyes in week 1. Buckeyes matriculating it down the field. Oh, incomplete. The Wolverines take over. How we doing? The Bruins. The Bruins are back on offense. The gutty little Bruins. Oh, they got him deep. Oh, look at that. Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, off to a good start. That's unbelievable. The Tigers looking for some answers on offense.
Back in the day, it was Garrett in charge of the Princeton Tigers offense. He was the 1988 Ivy League Player of the Year.
Ultimately, I tell people I came to Princeton because they were throwing the ball at the time, which is so absurd to look back on it.
Garrett didn't want to stop throwing once he graduated.
I was going to play this thing out as long as I could, and I was willing to try different leagues and pursue different opportunities. There are a lot of funny stories of people kind of coming up to me and tap me on the shoulder and say, you know, what are you doing with your life? I didn't want to live the rest of my life saying, if I just stuck with it a little bit longer. And, you know, I played for the Saints for a year. I was on their practice squad, and I got released the next year. I ended up playing in the World League in San Antonio. Hopefully we'll learn the importance of playing a real sharp mental game and play a good game against Barcelona.
Garrett, fake hand off the grade, back to Metz. Garrett looking long. John Garrett out there. John Garrett, quick pass. John Garrett made a diving catch from his brother Jason, and the Riders take the lead.
In 1992, Garrett joined the Cowboys.
I right, tight wing, slant G left. I loved it so much, and to be a part of those teams. You know, Jimmy Johnson's the head coach, Norv Turner's the offensive coordinator. Troy's the quarterback, Emmett's the running back. Once you get through there, shake him and go. Michael Irvin, they're all going to be the best players at their positions of their generation. But to see them in that process and to be around it was really special for me and impactful. Again, mindset, mentality, how they thought, how they worked, how the team came together, how they put their individual pursuits aside for the good of the team and how everybody benefited from that. Those are things I think about every day. How you doing?
Garrett won 3 Super Bowl rings in Dallas. And in 1994, he gave Brill, now a Harvard Law graduate, a ring. That same year, he enjoyed his most memorable day as a pro football player. It was Thanksgiving Day, and with Troy Aikman and Rodney Peete both injured, Garrett was starting against the Packers. And the newlywed was smart enough to take the advice his bride had given him before the game.
She was nervous, she was anxious, she was excited. In a lull of the conversation, said, I'm not going to be able to live with myself if I don't share this with you. I said, what is it? She said, if it gets hard out there and gets a little tough.
If everything is just coming at you so quickly, it just seems like Alvin Harper, he's always able to jump up and get that ball. So I just think he's someone to keep an eye on, So, and I meant it. I mean, it was heartfelt, so.
And I just started laughing, like, now you're giving me advice. But as it turned out, if you remember the game, we threw the ball up to Alvin a lot. He made a lot of plays for us.
Garrett threw for 311 yards and 2 touchdowns in the Cowboys' win.
Up the throw, deep to the middle. There's Irvin. What a throw and what a catch.
And what a day for Jason Garrett.
Is this a great game?
He has got to be loving this.
Through the years, Dallas Cowboys stars have shown up to coach at Jason Garrett's Starfish camp. This year's staff included current Cowboys Darren McFadden.
So we're jamming the guys on cover 2, but understand
Byron Jones.
You have to get depth.
Jalen Smith, and Dak Prescott.
no better ambassador than those guys. It's one thing to hear a message from me, but when you're a pro football player in the prime of your career, these kids look up to them, and there's a real responsibility that comes with that. But I do think, on the flip side, it's a really positive impact on the players themselves. I think oftentimes they see themselves as these young kids and what they were thinking at the time and what advice they got from someone to help get them on the right path.
That's how we do it. That's how we do it.
You know, the most important thing for a teacher or for a coach is to have connection. You have to have a connection with your student or with your player. I think our players understand that. And I think they love football, and I think they love kids, and I think they love imparting some wisdom on them. But they're all in, they're completely engaged. And I see those same images every year.
Go get a pick and win the game. Go get a pick and win the game.
Of them running 50 and 60 yards, and it ends in this chest bump and this enthusiasm and huge smiles. And I always walk away from that experience thinking, that's some 15-year-old kid from the Bronx. And here he is running down the field with Dak Prescott. And he'll take that experience with him for the rest of his life. And hopefully in some way, in that moment, Dak instilled something in that kid.
In good case, get them opportunities now.
As fun as the football is, Garrett's favorite part of the day is far away from the fields.
My oldest brother, Jim, brought my other brothers, John, Judd, and I, over here early on in high school, and we just spent the day at Princeton. He showed us the academic buildings, where the students live. We looked around and said, wow, this is a pretty neat place. And that's one of the reasons why we want to walk the kids up through campus to somehow, some way, see if this registers a little bit, see if we can grab them. The walk probably takes 20 minutes or so. They haven't seen anything like this before in their lives. And they say, I don't know if it's going to be here or somewhere else, but I want to do something like this. You know, put college on their radar screen. My oldest brother, Jim, did that for me when I was about their age. So we're trying to do that for these kids now. What an unbelievable morning. Big round of applause for you guys. Wow.
The walk ends at McCosh Lecture Hall, where coaches teach much more than football.
So all of you that are here are striving to be athletes. Some of you are going to make it, some of you aren't going to make it.
I don't believe in training athletes. I believe in building real men and helping them get to where I can get to. And facing that, what now? And knowing who they are and why they matter.
And it's where Jason Garrett introduces a starfish who was saved.
Our last speaker is a guy who used to sit in that seat right there when he was a camper here for 3 straight years from New Dorp High School. And then he graduated with honors, went to Holy Cross, played football, was the captain, graduated with honors. Did Teach for America down in Atlanta, and now he's teaching in Brooklyn. And he's changing a whole nother generation of lives. Freddie Santana, come on up here, Freddie.
You'll get it back. Take advantage of every opportunity, right?
It's foolish for me to say that somehow we put Freddie on the path. Freddie's got something inside of him. He's a special guy.
Way to make the adjustment.
But I like to think somehow, some way, maybe we directed him a little bit.
You make the choice. You got to live with the consequences. Whether it's positive consequences, but whether it's negative consequences.
Think about the impact he's made in his community when he went to Holy Cross and all his teammates, when he went to Teach for America, and what he's doing now. It's exponential. That's the goal. That's why we're doing it. One starfish becomes millions.
I'd love to be a mentor to all 327 of you guys. I have no problem with it. I know I'm not an NFL guy, but I can teach you some other things. Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
For Garrett's campers, the walk through campus hopefully leads down a path to a bright future. For Garrett himself, it's a walk into the past, to the place where he met his wife, and where he found his career. And if Garrett walks far enough back in time, he just might run into a Princeton student about to graduate. One whose life is going to be changed by the power of the spoken word.
Valedictory oration will be delivered by Raj Gupta from Bombay, India.
Oh my gosh. Oh, this is awesome.
As an old man walked the beach at dawn, he noticed a young man ahead of him, picking up starfish and flinging them into the sea. Finally catching up with the youth, he asked him why he was doing so. The answer was that the stranded starfish would die if left until the morning sun. But the beach goes on for miles, and there are millions of starfish, countered the other. How can your effort make any difference? The young man looked at the starfish in his hands and threw it to safety in the waves. He said, "It makes a difference to this one." Thank you.
Is that not so inspirational? It's awesome. Oh my God, that's so cool.
Have you seen that since then?
No.
I've never seen it.
No. That is awesome.
Roger,
I mean, it just takes you right there, doesn't it? I mean, don't you just want to go do something right now? Throw a starfish in the waves?
Round and round it goes, day by day it flows, it's right under your nose. Your light flashes and glows.
Embrace your days. Don't wish your days away.